Behind the Hooks. With Manny DeGrandis. And Daniel Panetta. And we're back.
Yes.
Thanks for listening to our audiobook.
Tale of Two Kitties.
It's been one of those days, man.
Meow.
It's funny. We record this at night, after Manny's chaos of a day is over and my chaos of a day is over, and we get here and all the pent up delirium.
Yeah, starts showing
It's just there's fumes of delirium in the air, and it's a day. It's a weekday, that's for sure. I don't even know what day it is. Whenever you're watching this, it's a Monday when you're watching this. It's Wednesday?
Wednesday today. Yeah.
How's your week been?
It's been fast.
It's been long. Fast for you?
Yeah, but long, right? Because it's just...
You gotta
because I don't do 8 hours anywhere. So 2 here, 4 here, 3 there, 5 there.
I don't know. I think... So we have a show this Friday, and I think because I've been looking so forward to that, it's slow.
Yeah.
It's the slowest week of all time. But
we're getting daily messages from you.
Yeah. Well, yeah, seriously.
Hey.
I'm like, last night I sent out the set list because I'm a procrastinator.
In Word format.
In Word. Well,
Which was fun.
PC.
Yeah.
I'm forever a PC boy. Yeah. I won't go back to Mac. I mean, unless they sponsor.
Yeah.
And in that case,
sell out.
I will Mac it up. But no, yeah. So I was working on the set list last night, and I was just like, maybe this will tire me out, and like maybe this will make me mentally exhausted, because I was so tired last night. I was exhausted, and then I just had like this burst of energy because I remembered we were playing. And I was like, oh, what'll make the night go by faster? Oh, I need to work. So I sent you and Ian a message saying, oh, yeah, we're going to work on like a holiday tune or a Christmas tune or something. So I got to work on the arrangement for that. And then I literally went to the studio, and I'm just like figuring out changes that we can do that's different, right? But, still keeping in the style. So I did that for about an hour, and then I sent you guys the set list, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'm done. I'll just lay down and watch Kitchen Nightmares or something. Oh, man. Yeah.
So that's your go-to TV show?
So so if you're looking, I've started my sword collection, and my go-tos for YouTubing, I don't YouTube right. Because I don't treat YouTube like Netflix, and I get mad when I don't see full episodes.
Yeah.
But I watch Forged in Fire, which is a wicked show about like sword forging, and it talks about the history of the swords. And then Pawn Stars, because I love the history of that too. Like they dive into the history pretty well with that stuff, and it's super entertaining. See what things are worth, if they have any value today or not. And what's a fake, And then Kitchen Nightmares, of course, because Gordon Ramsay, he's the most entertaining non-entertainer of all time.
Yep.
And Smosh, just because the Try Not to Laugh stuff, the bits are pretty funny and, topical. And I catch up with The Late Show. So in the morning, I listen to The Late Show, like monologues with Stephen Colbert.
Okay, on YouTube.
On YouTube,
and they do it. Oh, they do. Okay, they do it from the night before.
Yeah. So like, they'll put it out like a few hours after it's aired. Wow. And then that morning, I'll listen to it on my way to work.
Really?
To like figure out what's going on in the States, right?
Yeah.
Today I found out that Paul Rudd is the sexiest man alive.
Yeah, I somehow heard that too, and I didn't.
Which, good for him.
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not?
And they took the piss out of it too, which was funny. They did a whole sketch about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's funny. If you check it out, it's hilarious. Paul Rudd's a hero. Him on Hot Ones is probably like my favorite episode. Of just, you know, he's real. He's a real dude. You know, like he's not hamming it up or anything like that. He's a genuine guy, which is nice. Anyway, that has nothing to do with music.
Let's talk about people that are not down to earth that you worked with.
That is a sweet segue. Holy shit, man!
I'm segue king.
It's like you've done this before or something, man.
I know how to segue.
Well, if you watched the last episode, you know that we spoke with Tim from Supersonic Hearts Band, the International Musicians League, who is our boss. And Tim's great, and you know we're super excited. And just before the show tonight, I was speaking with him, just going over some upcoming gigs and stuff like that, and some areas that we can get into. And I kind of dove into when I was starting out in Vaughan, and you know Vaughan, Ontario, for those that don't know, is like the mecca for like banquet halls. Mm-hmm. It wasn't always that way. There was maybe a few when my family and I first moved there. And then when Vaughan became like the actual township, banquet halls were like on every corner. It's like what bars are for Barrie. It's like
and booked all the time.
Oh,
which
dude,
is
yeah,
crazy.
It was nuts, right? And you know, there was some bands coming up from Toronto and you know in the GTA area, and like I remember when I was starting out, it was myself and another vocalist that was my age. And
how old were you?
I was in grade 5. How old are you in grade 5? 10, 11?
Yeah.
So it started out where, you're going to sing for the national anthem. So we would sing for the national anthem on the PA system there. All gritty and shitty, but whatever. And, and then, you'd sing for the Christmas concert, and then you'd sing for the talent show, and then you'd sing for, assemblies and stuff like that. And it was always me and this other guy that were doing stuff because we were singing songs that we weren't supposed to at that age, Bocelli stuff. And shortly after that, we sang for the Italian consulate came to our school for some reason. I can't remember why. But the Italian consulate came to our school, and it was 3 of us that sang for the Italian consulate when they came. And then the next thing I knew, I was in a banquet hall, and I was doing like galas. Okay. Like almost, it feels like almost instantly. Like it was amidst like doing a competition here and there, and then like doing a job, right? And by the time I was like 13, I think 12 or 13 years old, I was in a banquet hall like every weekend.
Really?
I was gigging every weekend.
Were you doing was it English music or Italian?
It was everything.
Oh,
so
okay.
By the time I was like 15, I sang in like 7 languages because I was an overachiever.
Yeah.
But it was like the gimmick that I had was I was this young kid with an old voice. Yeah. And I was doing crossover stuff at the time too. So like I would do like some Josh Groban stuff, and then some like jazz tunes, and then some like rock and roll and whatever made people happy. And bands really started coming up in that area around that time. Mm-hmm. And started making like a name as like an event band or a wedding band, or so at the galas they would have the wedding band doing like the dance floor stuff, and I would be like the guest performer. So I'd go on before while people were eating dinner or something like that.
Also before the band.
Way before the band.
Would you do tracks?
I did tracks back then. There was a place called the Karaoke Superstore, and
I know that place.
You used to be able to like customize your CDs, and I used to customize my CDs based on gigs I was doing. I still have my binder full of
that would have been expensive.
It was, but the amount I was getting paid back then, like you got to remember. So I was doing 3 gigs a weekend. So I do Friday, Saturday, Sunday. As soon as I got home from school, I'm in a suit. And then gigs all weekend, right? I was walking away with like at least, a G note at the end of the the Sunday.
Yeah.
Like parents put it away, that kind of thing, right? And a portion of that money would go into building the repertoire for the tracks, right? I sang with bands when I was doing Elvis stuff. That was fun. I loved doing it, but there wasn't a lot of opportunity for like a 13-year-old fronting a band.
Yeah.
It wasn't happening, right? So I would go and do these gigs, to tracks and guest perform, and then these event bands would be playing after. And man, the most disgusting, like these guys were like my parents' age. They were literally my parents' age. Some of them even went to school with my parents. And they would like cut my mic out when I was like in the middle of a tune, or like sabotage my sound while I was performing. And it's like, dude, you're like 40.
Yeah.
Like, why are you threatened by a 13-year-old? I'm just starting out, try this where my friends were like trying to get part-time jobs at like McDonald's and stuff like that. I was trying to get into this, that way this could be my source of income, right? When I was about to go into high school. And these guys are like doing everything they could to like just mess me up. So there was one sound guy, I remember, like it was yesterday. I was doing a gig and he was messing with the volume of my sound. And then when I would look back at him, scathingly, his arms would be like, I don't know. So I put the mic down and I sang without it. And this is where, my teachers would have been proud because I projection and stuff like that. But I set the mic on the floor and I sang just without a microphone to like 1,500 people. And was really pissed after that. I think I was about 15, something around there. I know I was already in high school. And turned around to the sound guy after my set was done, grabbed his mic and smashed it on the floor. It's the only time I've like purposefully like thrown a mic. There's been accidental times, but this is the first time purposefully like I destroyed his microphone for being a complete asshat. And yeah, I've been thinking about that lately because, getting into the event stuff, and if there's an opportunity, there have been opportunities for guests of the event to get up on stage, younger guests to get up on stage and sing a song. And I'll be the first one to hand them the microphone because like I remember being that age.
Yeah, exactly.
Giving them an opportunity. Like that's how I would want to be remembered. It's like, oh yeah, my first time singing with a band, the singer of the band handed me the microphone. He was very sweet about it, and that's why I'm doing music today. Yeah. Like that, you want to inspire,
exactly.
Inspire the next generation. No, these guys were complete jerks, and I would call them. I remember all the band's names that used to treat me like garbage when I was a kid. I will not say them on this show because they don't deserve that kind of promotion. But what I will say is that if I ever cross their path again, chances are I'll be running their sound. Mm-hmm. And grudges are sweet. But isn't that petty?
No, I know. That was a big thing, too. Like, it was an 80s, 90s thing, right? Like, you'd show up and you wouldn't get a sound check because you're the opening band, or, you'd get, they wouldn't give you full PA. Right? Like
yeah.
They only push it to 5 or something. Or you don't get monitors. Like, it was so dumb. Like, luckily when I went through that, I was young and really dumb, and we were just like, whatever, we're playing Least Malice, who cares, or whatever, right? So, but, and we were a band. We were, not just like, because it's noticeable. You're playing it, you're singing the tracks, right? Mm-hmm. You know when something's wrong, right? Where I'm just like, oh, maybe just the sound guy sucks, or maybe the monitor came out plugged, or
maybe a monitor got blown. Yeah. But like when you're dealing with literally 2 inputs.
Yeah, 2 inputs.
You're dealing with 2 inputs. You are dealing with sound, like the track, and a voice. How do you screw that up?
I mean, there's that old saying where you don't follow a kid or animals, right?
I thought it was you don't work with animals or kids. Is following's a thing too? Jeez.
Follow on stage.
Well, a lot of these bands, like their lead singers, they had more money than talent, and they would like put the best musicians of the time of the area on stage with them to make them sound and look better. And
which is a smart thing to do.
It is. I always say work with people that are 10 times more talented than you are. You learn a lot, and you can't really go wrong.
If you want to learn.
Well, that's the thing too. These guys were set in their ways, and really disgusting behavior. Like these guys, the professionalism just out the window. These are the cats that like gave musicians a sketchy name when it came to professionalism. It's like, man, if I could go back and just set these guys straight and let them know that in like 10 years time they'll be irrelevant. That would be.
I think when someone treats you like that, I think they already know they're irrelevant at that moment. Yeah, and they're so scared of like okay, I don't know, man.
The stupid thing about it all too. The stupid thing on their part was I wasn't the only one that noticed.
Oh yeah, people notice.
So people notice that kind of petty behavior. You're not getting hired back. It's when they change band names and then they do well. And it's like, you're still that same piece of garbage, man. Like, I remember going into like places like the Reverb and the Big Bop and Cathedral and Funhouse and all those places when I was in a rock band. I was treated better.
Yeah, you would be. I could see that.
As in these dives, and our music was mediocre. But that was around the same era. That was around the same time as I was doing the other stuff too. And it was like, man, I'm like, they're asking if I'm okay and making sure I'm sounding all right. And I knew nothing about anything at that point. But yeah, it sticks in your mind. It's amazing how it sticks in your mind where I'm nearing that age of those guys.
And you're like, will you just keep reminding yourself, am I that person yet?
Never in a million years would I do that to a kid who's who had the same sparkle in their eyes as I did.
Yeah.
Like, why would I be the one to dim that?
No.
What a piece of garbage those people were. Yeah. Oh man, if I can, I would name them by names, but I'd rather spit in their faces. Anyway.
Yeah, it's irritating. I mean, when we were in our high school band, we were lucky to have older guys take us and have us open for them at all the cool bars in Toronto.
That's wicked.
It was good, right? But that that was cool. But there's always people doing all that stuff, right, here and there. But like it's like nice, like still to this day, I still like remember these bands and these guys that would give us these opening slots, right? It was like, without them, right? And these guys had nothing to do with your set, nothing. You got hired separately, right?
Zero. I wasn't playing with them. I was not part of their show. Their show hadn't even started yet. Their gear was on stage. They weren't. I wasn't even on the stage. I would sing on the floor.
Yeah, you'd sing on the dance floor, right? Yeah.
Exactly. And I'd walk around and have to dodge the servers. That was literally, that's what it was, man. Like I'd be on the floor and like I had my eyes closed in the middle of a high note. I'd open my eyes and like, buddy over here with a tray full of hot pasta coming straight for me. It's like, holy crap, man. Like, can you like maybe walk around? Do you have to like cross right in front? And, sometimes my parents would come to the shows too. And well, they'd be at most of them, but sometimes they would actually come in and like videotape. Yeah. So I have all these like mini DVDs, mini discs DVs? Of just, me in the center of a dance floor and like waiters just crowding like vultures. Just, there's been times where like they put me on too early and they're taking down the antipasto in the middle of the dance floor while I'm singing.
Lots of noise, eh? A lot of things lots of bang. That's hilarious.
Man,
And you were in all black too and white, so they probably thought you were a server.
There was no, I just blended in.
Are you gonna help us here? You put that microphone down. The fuck's with this guy over here?
Hey, it's like karaoke, man. Pick up a plate.
Hey, let's go. Eat the leftovers.
Oh man, that's funny. Oh, see, missed opportunity.
Yeah. I remember one night. It was I was attending a wedding. I was fairly young, and I was talking to like the saxophone player of the wedding band. I'm like, yeah, this seems like a cool gig, you know. He's like, you don't want to do it. And he's just, I don't remember exactly, but he was just so rude about it, or you'd never have a chance kind of thing or whatever, like one of those
bitter.
Yeah, one of those conversations. Like it's just like, not like deterring me to be like, oh, you should stick on an original music path and never stop that, or you know, it's just like, nah, you just don't want to make music for a living. Like you can't make, not like you don't want, like you can't.
Yeah,
it doesn't
just
even
some
hurt me
sort of
play or anything. I was just like,
any guidance would be better than that.
You know, and I was just, that's the first time I had a thought. I'm like, oh, that wedding band kind of looks like fun. They were playing fun tunes. I'm like, that might be a fun gig when I get older. Yeah, he's just like, I'm like, for what?
It's so silly.
And I'm sure I've played a gig with him somewhere.
Probably.
Yeah, you know, it's so funny.
I just think it's funny, man. And then on the other side of the coin, you know, guys that were the same age and I did end up working with, or like they had a studio or something like that, couldn't have been nicer.
Yeah.
You know, it was just that, you know, fake shooter mentality that some of these guys had that make me sick thinking about it now. And I just, like I really commend the ones who, you know, tolerated the inexperience that I had and took the time to, you know, put me on a path. And the ones that tried to sabotage, well, I'm coming for your job. Yeah, man. Like that's the bittersweet thing of it. You know, it's like it sticks in your mind and motivates you, but at the same time, it's like it still sticks in your mind. Yeah. You know. And I think that goes with anything. I think there's, you know, there's situations like that in any workforce. There's always, you know, somebody who's never going to get ahead, never going to do more than what they're doing at that moment. And the only way that they can make themselves feel better is to make you feel smaller.
Yeah.
But how much smaller does a 13-year-old have to be? Really? Like, I was just scrawny, like, you know, just coming out of doing Elvis stuff. And, you know, I didn't know how to do anything. You know, I wore a suit jacket with Dickies, man. Like, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And, these great organizers and committees took a chance on me to entertain some people, and you know, I did the best that I could, and obviously, you know, I did something right because they kept hiring me. But man, just it's sad. It really is sad. The day that you feel threatened by a kid that's, you know, you're not going to be here forever.
Yeah.
You know, like
someone's got to take your job.
It's got to be a legacy of, you know, somebody carrying on the torch. I would love to do that for somebody someday. What some of my mentors have done for me, and I'm sure some of your mentors have done for you, and just be able to, like, you know, here are all the tools.
Yeah.
Here you go. This is yours now.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, just carry it on. Do your thing. You know, make it yours. But no. No. I don't want to be pissy this episode. I just, you know, it came to my mind because I was talking with Tim about it, and disgusting people. Terrible. What do you think? We take a break?
Yeah, let's take a break.
Let's take a break. Apparently, my computer's telling me that I got a lot of storage, so you'll see a nice external hard drive here when we come back. See you in a bit. Hey guys, Daniel here from Behind the Hooks. Just wanted to take this time to let you know about Buzzsprout. Buzzsprout is who we use here on our show to distribute our show to all the platforms that we can, Spotify and all that fun stuff. Follow the link in the description and the show notes, and it gets you a $20 Amazon gift card if you sign up for a paid plan, and it helps support our show, which is pretty great. That would be nice. We use it. It's been nothing but great. It's super easy to use. The customer support and the help that I've gotten because I am tech dumb has been nothing but incredible. If you want to upgrade, Buzzsprout has tons of guides to help you find the right equipment at the right place. Just start with some gear, a quiet place, and you can literally upload a podcast from anywhere. You'll get real great looking podcasts because of the website. The website is super sleek and it's really nice. It's nice to have a hub for people to go to if they just want to listen to your show. It's not hard if you have the right partners. The team at Buzzsprout is passionate about helping you succeed. I've experienced this firsthand. We had a previous show that I didn't have access to, and I was worried about it kind of convoluting the market a little bit. So the fact that we can run side by side is absolutely amazing. Join over 100,000 podcasters already using Buzzsprout to get their message out to the world. Your message is important, and Buzzsprout is here to help you get it out there. We use it, we love it, and we know that you guys will love it too. So, like I said, there's some incentives behind it. Go ahead and check out the link that I'm going to be putting in the description and the show notes. Now, let's get back to the show. And we're back. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
I apologize for my rant.
Needed to be said.
Well, yeah, I guess. But, get over it, Danny. Shall we do some on this day?
Obviously.
All right, let's do it. Here we go. On this day in music history. Today is, this is a crazy one. November 11th, 1972. The Allman Brothers Band bass player, Barry Oakley, was killed when his motorcycle hit a bus at the same intersection as former band member Duane Allman, who died a year earlier. Oakley was 24 years old. That's crazy.
It's crazy.
The same intersection.
Both motorcycles.
Both motorcycles a year apart.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost like,
Yeah.
I'm not a big believer in like spiritual stuff, but
that's pretty crazy.
It's almost like it was meant to happen.
I don't know. I know there's a lot of true fans on drugs that have taken that to another level. Obviously.
Yeah. Oh man, but
both are a huge loss. At least to a guy like me. I love the Allman Brothers, especially that original lineup was very special. And then they were just they weren't brothers anymore, right? Essentially.
Yeah.
But Duane, man, like he was, I don't know, he was special, man. He was a special guitar player, and I mean, he got hired by everybody, Aretha Franklin and Clarence Carter and Boz Scaggs and Eric Clapton, and he does that beautiful Layla solo.
Talk about like session guys, that's a nice cushy session gig.
Yeah,
he could have done that for the rest of his life and done well.
Yeah, and him and his brother always wanted to start a band. There's a few guys like that too. Jimmy Page, John Paul Jones.
Yeah.
They had to pull John Paul Jones out of the session work, but it's crazy that Jimmy Page did sessions. Like, you just like, really, right? But
yeah, he was big into it. I remember hearing a story about what's his name, the guy who did the James Bond theme song, Vic Flick or Rick Flick, something Flick. Anyway, he did like all these like movie theme songs and stuff like that, guitar player, and Jimmy Page would be like over his shoulder, like watching what he was doing and stuff like that. And like, yeah, all these crazy. And we did this stupid quiz before we came on tonight and did like this Michael Jackson quiz, and it's like Toto doing like all the session work for Michael Jackson in Thriller, right? I think it was Thriller.
Thriller, and I'm pretty sure they did some. Oh, I mean, they had all session guys were off the wall too, right? Like, I mean, all those guys, you know, and girls, Madonna, like all that, like it's just nobody. There's no band.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. What a cool time to be in. Like, do we even have that anymore?
I think we have a different variation of it now.
Well, all you need really is a laptop and speakers, and you can.
Right. There's a lot of guys that you go over, they'll program the drums on you and play all this stuff, and you know, you pay him everything to get it all done.
Give you all my money.
I don't know that loses something for me, but I mean, those guys in the 80s and 90s were real players and real at their end. You know, they would hire someone that could play their instrument, not like a guitar player playing bass or keyboard synth.
Wait,
although,
what's the matter, Manny?
Although, you know, but Steve Lukather, he played bass on one of the Michael Jackson songs, and I want to say it was Billie Jean.
That's a pretty heavy song to be featured on.
Was it Billie Jean? I don't know, because Louis Johnson did a bunch for both albums, which is crazy. Because when I wouldn't. I don't know, unless if I didn't want slap bass, which he destroys on that tune Off the Wall. Like I mean, dance on the floor.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I mean, he made that song.
Yeah.
So I get why Quincy called him, but like I just kind of like I don't think of like when I think Louis Johnson and like no disrespect at all, but I'm not like, oh, you know, he'll be able to you know, play anything great. Like I'm like, oh, man, I want to slap. I want to thump master. Oh, yeah, Lewis, man. Like, get over here. Like, I'd give him my bass. Like, here, record this instead of me. Right? Like, I feel like, you know, but he did groove pretty, like, he did a lot of really cool stuff. You know, and he was in, you know, he had his brothers, you know, the Johnson brothers, and then he had, you know, he played in Chic.
Right.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Right? You know, it's crazy, right? Like,
well, yeah, the turnaround for those bands too. I mean, like they'd poach and like just swap members, and next thing you know, somebody would be in like another bigger band, and it was a weird time that you could just do that. Now a label's got you so locked down. There's no way in hell you'd be able to do that if you're a band that's, you know, putting out stuff, and you know, that's what I mean. But you know,
I wonder how hard it was to get Eddie Van Halen to play on the Beat It solo. Like, I wonder if, like,
label wise or band wise?
Label wise, right? Like,
yeah,
you know,
that would
never
been
just like, hey Eddie, come on in the studio.
Was Van Halen signed to same label as Michael? Who was he with back then? Was he with Columbia or?
Oh, that's kind of the thing. That's one thing I never really.
Because they'll do that if they're part of the same label. They'll interchange all the time.
Yeah, because then they could push it. Yeah, I would like. There's a lot of times where they can't be in the video,
right? Stuff
like that. Where okay, you could play on the album, but I mean, Slash did the Dirty Diana video.
He did,
but I don't think they were on. I mean, Guns N' Roses were on Geffen at the time that I remember.
Yeah, unless were they a subsidiary? I think Michael was with Epic, which was Sony. Forever.
Or was it like, and I feel like it's sometimes, you know, I mean, Michael's the kind of guy, if Michael asked for it, he got it back then too, right?
Well, yeah, I remember hearing a story. My old manager was bringing a band into Columbia. You're talking like early 90s. And, or was it, I don't know. It's one of the labels, like one of the big five back then. And he walks in, and they were going to sign a contract that day with that band. And one of the reps comes down the stairs and says, "Sorry, we're not signing anybody today. We just signed Michael Jackson. No contract going out today." And it's like, whoa.
Whoa.
Yeah. They literally they poured all of their money into.
They're
him.
like, okay, we
can't afford to sign anybody right
You're
now.
gonna lose anyways if we shelved.
Yeah. I saw today, not today, a day, I don't know. What day? It's still Wednesday, right?
Still the same day you said earlier.
I think it was yesterday that I saw Avril Lavigne just signed with Warner.
She's coming back.
Yeah, she's got single out, but she's definitely got an album on the way. I saw her.
So she put the single with another.
No, I think they bought it.
Oh, okay.
I think she was pitching it like either independent or she was in between. I guess her contract was up, and Warner released a statement yesterday saying she's part of the Warner family now.
Huh.
I saw
like
her.
how they say family. That's funny.
Yeah, it's a stipple. There's nothing family about being in the label. I saw that. She was posting some videos. She was working with Travis Barker.
That's okay. I was waiting for you to finish your sentence. I was going to bring that up. So he's become the session guy.
Yeah.
The drum session guy. He's on.
We didn't hear from him for like 10 years. And then he comes out of nowhere and he's playing with everybody.
Well, because he's with a Kardashian now. Because his ex-wife held him back, man.
You're saying that the Kardashians are giving him the support he always wanted?
Kardashians are super supportive people. They really push Kanye into his Satanism. And
poor Pete Davidson.
I guess I heard he's coming. Man, that guy, like, you know what's funny? Okay, that guy.
I love the guy. I love him. There's nothing you could say that will turn me off of him. He uses his mental illness as a weapon.
Yeah. He throws it right at you. You're like, whoa, what? I just met you.
The only one that really got close, like Chris D'Elia, kind of does that too, where he uses his insecurities as bravado, and it's so damn funny. But yeah, Pete's been spotted with. When did we become People Magazine? Like,
what's crazy is like Pete is that stoner guy that like nobody would date, but now because he's
he had Ariana Grande, and now he's just like okay, how far can I take this?
It reminds me of that George Costanza fucking thing, right? Oh, you dated a model? You must be. I swear, Jerry, it wasn't a meat place. It was a bar last night.
What were we talking about? We went from the Allman Brothers to Kim Kardashian and Pete Davidson.
That's what year we're in right now.
Man. Okay, let's gear it back a little bit.
All right.
Because I do like talking like the celebrity goss is always that's clickbait, man. I love it. But
I don't even go into supermarkets or have Snapchat or whatever, and I still find out of these things. Just pop up like, open your phone, you go and make a phone call. It's like, boom, Kardashian. Yeah. I'm like, wow.
Wasn't Pete Davidson with like Kate Beckinsale or something for a little while too?
I would not second guess that.
Pete Davidson, man.
Nobody would have dated that guy in high school.
Oh no!
Or
yeah,
college,
not a chance.
or university, or whatever.
Or now,
right? It's just so funny. It's like, oh yeah, he's on TV, so I must date him.
He is the most, like he doesn't really have characters on SNL. He's himself in different outfits.
Yeah,
but he's so funny. Like him, like doing the pop-up cameos on Weekend Update. I just watched clips of those of like compilations.
Yeah.
I waste portions of my day watching compilations of that where Pete Davidson comes out and he just doesn't give a shit about what he's saying. He just says it. It's the funniest thing. Speaking of SNL, that band.
Yeah. Was that the World's Dangerous Band was Letterman's band, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's Paul Schaefer's.
Yeah. Good old Canadian boy.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I need to read his book.
I do too. Paul, man, that guy's a freaking genius.
Yeah.
He did all wasn't he part of like the house band for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for a while too?
He does a lot of all that stuff.
Like
tons of recording. Those guys had it made, man, with that show because they could do gigs, sessions, and people would work around them for sessions, right?
I always wondered like how much work to be like a late night show band, because in reality, the most you're playing is what, 40 seconds.
Well, it's weird. I read in the Questlove book, he talks about the day, how they deal with the day. And it seems like they do a lot more practicing than like.
Well, they have like full blown musical segments that like they have to know tunes, and
they pull an 8-hour
quizzes.
day if I remember correctly. It ends up being like something like that. Like it's like a work day, right? But I feel like the other ones, like just from like Tim LaFave was talking about subbing in, and it was like kind of felt like he didn't really do a lot of work for it. Like, just kind of show up and.
I could tell, like, you can definitely tell when like a talk show band is like either like there to just fill space, or like they're an integral part of the show. The Late Show, James Corden, what's his Reggie Watts is the band runner there.
Yeah, love his laugh.
He's hysterical. Watch his TED Talk. His TED Talks are absolutely phenomenal.
Really?
Like, yeah, he's so funny. He's like highbrow kind of funny. And then he goes into like looping and beatboxing and stuff like that, and track layering. But you know, that band there, like they do some work, man. As much as like James doesn't really like showcase them so much because he is more of the celebrity goss show, which don't take that as a insult. Like, you know, do what you do. It works well for James Corden. Worked a lot better for James Corden than Craig Ferguson, who had his show before him. But you know, the Roots impresses me a lot because they still travel back to Philly to do local shows too. And even though they're on nightly, they will go back on the weekend to Philly and drive to do more shows and stuff. One of my favorite talk show bands is John Baptiste and Stay Human from The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. John Baptiste is a monster piano player, Juilliard guy. And Stay Human, just a very tasteful band. The Paul Schaefer's band was dope. But this SNL band has consistently and always been just such an integral part, even though they don't do like huge things in the show. They're intro and outros, right? Really.
Yeah.
And like there's just that SNL sound. There's that the SNL arrangement, and the sound that comes out of that band is just, it's so signature. And it's always been that way since it started. Man, to be in that band would be sweet. Because they
it's
don't
only
even
once a week.
They don't even play with like performers, because performers usually either bring their own tracks or band. Mm-hmm. So the SNL band's got probably the best job in the world.
But it's one day a week.
One day a week. They can do anything else that they want. Put that on their resume to get more gigs. Like,
because the grind must. I mean, you know, as much as we all love playing, like doing the same thing every day. Like I think the Roots have fun because they were a band, and Jimmy Fallon. I mean, I don't know. You just don't know what that guy's going to throw at you.
Yeah. Well,
right?
Being with Jimmy Fallon was not the Roots' wasn't their first TV talk show gig. They actually worked with Jon Stewart back when he was on MTV. And like Jon Stewart basically got them their TV start. They were doing like the underground scene and stuff like that in Philly, but yeah, Jon Stewart just absolutely loved them. Yeah, the Roots. I mean, those guys are absolute monsters, and they'll probably go down in history as one of the greatest talk show bands, like late show bands of all time, if they ever make that list. Yeah, Paul Schaefer. It got like a little hokey near the end, because, you know, they were older musicians, you know, and playing for an older talk show host. But, I mean, check out John Baptiste's stuff and Stay Human. Like, he's released an album over COVID. He released an album, and it is like straight New Orleans kind of stuff, man. It's so good. He's a badass player, tasteful badass player. Yeah, so we went from the Allman Brothers to studio sessions. Michael Jackson, Toto.
Pete Davidson.
How did we get to Pete Davidson? I don't know. Rewind
I
and
threw it.
put in the comments
Travis Barker. That's the problem.
Avril Lavigne, Warner, labels, Columbia, Epic. Let's see, I just did it.
Yeah.
Found it. Labels. Always comes down to labels.
Ruining everything.
Well, yeah, okay.
Actually, I watched this weird documentary on Tubi. It was about
What?
Tubi. You don't watch Tubi? It's a great Tubi. Get Tubi. It's a free app and it's got like movies.
So they won't sponsor because it's free.
I don't know, but if we say Tubi enough, maybe they will.
We say Tubi enough, we get demonetized.
It's a fine line, folks.
Well, can they demonetize us if they're not making any money?
Yeah.
Okay, go on with
But anyways,
this Tubi.
it was they have some fun music documentaries, some good ones and some whatever. But there was this one about the 90s grunge, right?
Okay.
But like the second wave where where labels just when Nirvana broke, so they just hired anybody that sounded grunge, and big mistakes. I mean, the labels ruined grunge music.
Oh, for sure.
Right? Like
it was the shortest movement of all time.
Oh my! Because they signed everybody, and then there's just too much product, and too much of it was crap, and their stories were crazy. So it was all the second wave guys and how they all got screwed over by the labels, and they're just like, dude, we would start a band. It goes, think about all you and your friends with bands. Like we all got signed.
Yeah.
Who? No, that's
They literally
unheard of.
took over a coffee shop in Seattle and just started a label.
Everything. They just signed everybody, right? It's like such a crazy move, And grunge was kind of weird too because like Alice in Chains got thrown in there, but they already made it before.
Yeah,
they
were
it, and they were rock, and then
they were a rock
Soundgarden
band
thrown in it, but they were already doing their thing, and they were metal-ish, kind of thing at the time, right? So they just didn't know what to do, so they just like, oh, we sound like anybody sound like Eddie Vedder, sign them.
There wasn't a grunge label though, was there?
Yeah, well, Sub Pop.
They were considered the grunge, like they were the grunge go-to.
They were an indie label that had those guys kind of locked up, the Mudhoney's, and like not. And I need to know more of their story. They had them all signed, and they released their, and it was more of a, it was a small room, 2 dudes, and I don't think they really signed guys for like 4 records or one. They just kind of like they put out their independent releases and some, and I don't know what that contract was. So basically,
what CD Baby is now. For artists.
And I don't, I don't think they've had nobody. I think after that it went in obviously more, corporate-y and whatever. But at that time they were just trying to release people's music, and they were putting out, And back in the day, there was a lot of those compilation albums.
Those did
huge. Really well for people.
Big shiny tunes.
All kinds of that. Like, yeah, so you'd get like, if you got your song on there and you're brand new, like you could blow up. There's bands that blew up because of one song on a compilation. They would never have been heard of, right?
Those compilations like started artists, like started bands. Like they got, I should say started bands, but they gave starts to bands.
Yeah. You wanted to be on that.
Yeah.
And you made money. The Salds were on one.
Yeah.
You made some money off of that.
That's crazy too, because like if you think back to like those compilation albums, there was like, everything from every genre of music. Obviously dance with the, much music, big shiny tunes and whatever. How many they're still putting out volumes, I think. But yeah, like that's where like Aqua and all of them got their start too, and it's like pretty sure Britney Spears' first single was on one of them, and then music videos in the 90s were that was your biggest promo.
Music videos, compilations,
and compilations, and which then directed people to eventually get your album. Whereas now you put out a YouTube video, you put your song out on Spotify, and nobody buys your album.
Yeah, it's so different. And you make a video, right? Like I love like I love the lyric video because, I mean, you're gonna put money into a video. It's really hard.
Lyric videos are tough to do. Yeah. I had to do an edit for one recently, and I hated doing it. Like, it's so intricate, and you're following the lines of the song very, very closely. And it's like, man, I get why people pay big bucks to get a proper lyric video out there, and yeah, man, lyric.
Yeah, they're not as easy.
The whole music scene right now is so freaking weird. It is fruit flies, man. They're so weird because it's like it's just odd because anybody that would be doing the exact same thing 20 years ago would have had to, first of all, spend a fortune.
Yeah.
Spend, like, you're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars to release music back then, where now it costs like $30 to get your song distributed. Podcasts weren't a thing. You're either on like satellite radio or a radio station of some kind, and there was like the promo was literally how much money do you have to spend, whereas now there's bots, there's like paid promotion that you ads, like there's so many ways, and this is labels again, they create bubbles. So when the label creates a bubble, they put all this stuff and all this promotion behind all their artists and everything, and then boom, people get sick of it, they move on to the next thing, and it's like, man, like I don't understand. I sound like one of those old guys now. I sound like one of those old guys. I don't get it. What do you mean you did this in your bedroom? What are you talking about? Are you kidding me? What is that? How many instruments do you have on that? It's just you. Holy crap. That would have cost. Can you imagine the amount of production costs? And I heard that too, that big artists are putting out songs with lesser production quality, not necessarily production quality, but instrumentation and mixing, things to mix within the song so they could pop out more for streaming purposes. They're catering their releases to streaming instead of to quality. And we're talking label artists, which the only thing in my head that would really put that into place is the fact that one, labels get a kickback. Two, I think that's the only point I had.
Gotta be.
But yeah,
money. Like, follow the money.
Labels are pushing. That tells me that labels are pushing the artists to work specifically with the streaming services in mind instead of their audience. And it's like, well, okay, but you're killing it. There's going to be a fall. I want this segment of the episode to be documented for historical purposes. Because one day, 30 years from now, somebody's going to be doing an On This Day in Music History and talk about this moment right now. There is going to be a break. Like a crack in the earth kind of break. Either the internet or the music streaming services on the internet will crumble. Something is going to happen to make that so, whether it's a company that comes out with something that's better or their platforms, there's just not enough satellite space or whatever. There's something technologically that is going to disturb what we've come to know as the norm in music consumption. And then there's going to be a Jesus Christ Savior of some kind that's going to revert it back to what it used to be. And we're going to start all over again. Or at least start in the 70s. And we're like work our way back, break, waves, right? But I have this feeling something is going to happen because it cannot keep going like this.
No.
Musicians are starving of the way it's going right now.
They're starving.
And
number one hit and starving. Like
number one hit and they're starving.
Yeah.
Can't tour.
Yeah.
Because they can't fund it. Can't get merch out there because they can't fund it. They're working day jobs to try to fund it, or at least fund their releases and videos and stuff like that, and their promotion, which is not, they're funding promotion that's not getting them paid. The only way that these guys are getting paid is from ad revenue and product and like product placement and, you know, some sort of sponsorship or endorsement deal of some kind. And it's like, it's not going to last. Yeah. It can't last, right? Yeah. I mean, call me crazy. Maybe this will go down in history for the wrong reason, that I was completely wrong in saying that something's going to crumble and it's just going to get worse. But I honestly believe there's got to be an uproar for musicians, because it's just got to, it's scary out there, man. Yeah. Nobody wants to be signed to a major label right now.
No.
None of the people I know want to be signed to a major label right now. My dream label used to be Warner. Huh. I wanted to be signed to Warner.
Really?
And then Facebook was created. And it was just like, okay, well, I know too much now.
Thank you, Google.
Anyway. That's it.
Yeah. Let's end there. Donate.
Speaking of starving, check out in the description or the show notes. You can check out the Buzzsprout link where you can sign up with Buzzsprout and get your podcasts heard. And we also have a donate button for our podcast because this gear doesn't pay for itself. And
this is true.
Yeah, donate. The money goes to a great cause. It's called the Manny and Daniel Pocket Fund, and no, we put it back into the show. We try and get guests. We'll probably have a cool guest next time on the next episode. We'll leave it as a surprise because it's a surprise to us right now too. And
something's cooking.
Share, like, subscribe, smash.
Yes.
Notification bell, and be kind to each other. Go watch live shows.
Especially ours. Have a good night.
Ours. See you guys.
Behind the hooks.